Your power has suddenly shut off. Your phone doesn't work, your stove doesn't turn on, your heat and AC are not working. In the distance, you hear loud, blaring noises and what sounds like an electrical discharge or a crackling noise with the screams of mass amounts of people, like it was from a stadium. Outside, people are running, lots of people, in groups. Some have the hoods to their cars open in a vain attempt to fix whatever is wrong with the power. Others are using bicycles to circumvent this, but they are few and far between. You have no context as to what is happening. You know you need to make a decision, but aren't sure as to what. All you know for certain is that people are evacuating the immediate area and are only taking who and what they can with them. This scenario has always fascinated me. Unironically, what would you do here? You have very little time to react, if at all. And all you know for certain is that something unnatural is happening that is causing mass panic and making people flee their homes. What is your game plan in this? Grab SKS and go in the woods, probably. Isn't there a sci-fi fantasy form for such stupid shit? It's not even about weapons. Go be a faggot somewhere else. You should be ashamed to be so childish. Jeet butthurt that he doesn't even understand what is going on. His manual not explaining it just makes him more upset. Keck. Weirdly enough, the initial attack in the Spielberg version would be easier to survive than in the original Wells novel. So long as you're not in the Martian's line of sight, you'd survive the weird body dusting beam that doesn't seem to affect non-biological matter. The Wells heat ray, on the other hand, would just light half the city on fire in a matter of minutes. Yeah, it seemed like they could set vehicles on fire and stuff in the movies, but in the books they could melt battle cruisers in seconds. Red Planet shitheads fucked around in the wrong hood. I go and bang a dozen of the cheapest and seediest prostitutes, then give the A's advanced super aids, thus saving humanity. It's really funny how some people think they will die if the AC stops working. Being so detached from reality is mind-blowing. Tell my wife to switch on the battery system attached to our solar. Probably wouldn't work, but I wouldn't know at that time. Grab our bow fang from the pantry. Try to get a signal. Grab a gun, walk out to the front gate, and fruitlessly ask people what the fuck they're running from. Based on the info available, I wouldn't be running anywhere. That might be what everyone else is doing, but my house is pretty sturdy and we've got more than enough shit stored in the basement to get us through most realistic emergencies. There are a few scenarios where blindly fleeing into the street would be a good idea for me. I'd assume some sort of nuclear strike, solar flare, terrorist attack, or industrial accident before fucking aliens. Only one of those is likely to involve both an EMP and people running. SHTF plan for nuclear war essentially involves sheltering in the basement until it's safe to roam the post-Fallout wasteland, trading bottle caps for bullets. But I'd probably stand around trying to confirm whether it was nukes or something else long enough to see the big tripod-y cunts. I can't remember what they were armed with though. My basement is 3 feet below ground and has no windows. Would hiding down there be enough to ride out a laser beam or whatever to the house above? I'd probably just shelter in place if I had no idea what I was running from or why. Aliens wouldn't be a reasonable assumption or believable if anyone told me that was the cause, right? Hoofing it, I'd still be as hot/cold, whatever is at home, but I'd have fewer resources available, so I may as well gear up and hide in the bathtub. The altitude might get me killed, but running around could do the same. I guess I'd prepare my bike just in case though. If it's Martian, sheltering in place underground if you have a bomb shelter or deep basement might be good enough. They're just clearing a swamp, not trying to exterminate humanity at all costs. If you can stay out of sight, they may be happy to leave you alone. Unironically, what would you do here? Try and clear some of my game backlog and get in the gooning session before dying. What does this have to do with weapons? I don't have a spare torpedo ram in my backyard, so they are irrelevant to the discussion and irrelevant to this board. Rape the aliens when they descend into my dungeons. And maybe kill some Martians if they also come in. Maybe. Your heat and AC are not working. Just kill me now. I don't want to be outside of my comfort zone. In the book, the aliens use heat rays to start massive fires, burning down cities and starting huge forest fires. Then they use a lethal heavy gas released from canisters to kill or flush out people hiding in basements and ruins. Only the largest caliber artillery and naval guns have any effect on them, and only if they come at a low angle and hit below the tripod's armored hood. It's an absolute nightmare scenario. It was published in 1898, so of course there's no indication that the tripods could handle modern weapons, and certainly not nukes. But it still does a great job of creating a sense of hopelessness where the invasion feels less like a war and more like an extinction event. Surrender myself to the Martians and have tentacle sex with them. But the chances of anything coming from Mars are 1,000,000 to 1, they said. What would you do? Fuck your sister. Hunker down at home. I can't survive in the woods for long, and I wouldn't want to. It'll either be resolved in a way that I'm safe at home, or I'll die in my home. Wait for the microorganisms to cut the Lamaux out of world conquest. Unironically, what would you do here? What is your game plan? I become the deer hunter and chop some extra firewood for the winter. I take my bike to the harbor and start firing up my ironclad torpedo ram. We have work to do. I get turned into dust most likely. This is the case for most people unfortunate enough to run into one of those things. Aliens shut down the power, AC, pornography, the internet in a major city, and probably trample on all the mosques and cat cafes. I figure shit wouldn't last long. No, not my cat cafes. Tripods accidentally suck up some cat blood. Get toxoplasmosis. The age of man is a long-forgotten memory. Feline overlords now roam the planet in their mighty three-legged machines demanding tributes of catnip and warm milk from scattered tribes of primitive human nomads.
The guy on his heel.